show up.
Good afternoon. Let's call this meeting to order. Are there any appearances by the public?
No, we've had no requests for speakers this evening.
Roll call. Erickson? Absent. Present. Bell? Schaefer?
Yes.
Jack?
Present.
Natalie?
Present.
Thompson? Absent. We have 2 absent, and I think we have a quorum.
Correct.
Okay. Consent agenda. Approval of the minutes for June 15th, 2023 and July 5th, 2023. Do we have recommended approval of transfer bills by the county? We do. And they're in, oh boy, this is a big number. We're approving the bills for $621,118.83, which is 83 cents. Are we gonna approve them? Is that
You
what I
need
heard?
a motion, yeah.
Need a motion to approve the bills,
The consent agenda.
consent agenda?
Yeah.
Approval by Abraham, approval by Mendoza. That's not here.
So you have a motion and a second on the floor, so you'll just need to call for the vote.
Okay, call for the vote. Excuse me, I am new at this, so be patient, please.
And the chair has to vote.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
All those in favor?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None opposed. Do I sign here?
Yep. It
Okay,
passes and you sign that.
it has passed it, and I say it here.
Mhm.
Chuck, I hope you're having fun today. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. The first item is department manners, and A is with Matt Lane, McLean County Sheriff. Items to be presented for action.
Hi. Hello, everyone. I have no items or action today. I did want to give a brief on mental health and jail DOC population of 9 that are being held here on a warrant for DOC. I'm sorry, with parole violations, DOC. 3 that are waiting transfer after sentencing. And then I have mental health report. We have 4 not guilty by reason of insanity awaiting beds or a release plan with Department of Human Services. We have 5 that are unfit to stand trial awaiting bed with Department of Human Services. The longest wait's been since June 17th, so they have been able to catch up a little bit. Before the longest was November. So that is the status for us today. You have the other information in our packet. Anybody have any questions? Yes, go ahead.
Would you be able to give us like a little bit of a status update on the Eagle Agreement, like where it's at, when the.
Eagle agreement with the Wilmington Police Department right now, they reviewed. They're supposed to review that as soon as possible, get back to me. And at that point, I can get it to you all. So the suggestions I got were included in what I sent to them. They were supposed to review those and get back to me when they have I know the chief was at a conference last week,
Mhm.
so I'm assuming he'll look at it this week as soon as he's available. Yes, ma'am?
I don't have a question, I have a comment.
Yes.
I just wanna make a comment that I know at Health Committee last month and the last couple of months that Becky has talked about how they've been able to restore some individuals to be able to stand trial that did not have to then be transferred out. So I wanna commend the staff for their continued work in that area.
Yes, ma'am. I'll pass that on, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yes,
That frequently asked question sheet that we got, is that being distributed?
it will be.
Okay, will
It
be.
will be. You guys were first. The next it will go out to the rest of the county board, and I'm gonna make it public as soon as everybody's seen it.
Thank you.
Is that all?
If there's no other items, then thank you very much, Sherry.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
See how for you.
Circuit Clerk's Office, bills, scanning.
I do not see him here tonight, so we could just move on to that.
Okay, Public Defender's Office,
I don't see Ron either. I do see Suzanne Montoya under D.
okay. Under D, Suzanne Latour. Thank you for coming. Okay. Item to be presented for action. Is there any?
No, I have
Okay.
no items to be presented.
Items to be presented for information?
Just if you wanna take notice of the court services, adult and juvenile division statistics, and those are pretty standard department statistics for the month. But if you have any questions, I can answer those.
Does anyone have any questions? I see none. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
We're now at E, Molly Evans. Children's Advocacy.
I do not see Molly either. She does have an action item, so I can present that with your permission.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
So, the item on E1A for Molly Evans Children's Advocacy Center is her request for approval of a memorandum of understanding between the Child Protection Network and the County of McLean.
Do I make the motion? Okay.
Susan made the motion.
Susan made the motion and seconded by Abraham.
This is a standard agreement. There is a long-standing relationship between CPN and the Children's Advocacy Center. And so this allows for a detailed document to express the requests that CAC may be making from CPN should the need arise for those financial supports.
You might not know this, but do we have any do we have any intentions of getting funding from them? And if so, are those like hard plans or are those like, we'll get funding eventually?
Yes, we do have plans to get funding from them. In years past, it has been handled in different ways, but I do believe that in this year's expenses, they have support expected for Feta, who is their therapy dog, and some of his care, and that's about as far as I could go in answering those details, but I do believe that that is one area of funding that CPN assists with.
Okay, is there any other items that, or does anyone have any other questions concerning Molly Evans, Children Advocacy Center?
Just have to go through them.
All right, Can we get a vote on approval requests of the memorandum that you understand for this motion?
Aye.
Okay, so we got Schaefer and,
We already had a motion of Schaefer Abraham.
Motion
Motion for
Schaefer and
second.
Abraham.
okay,
We just need a vote.
we just need a vote, so it have a second. Okay. We need to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, the next one is F, Erica Reynolds, McLean County State's Attorney, has one item to present.
Hi, so I'm asking for permission to essentially obtain a contract employee for purposes of handling our specialty courts. Right now in McLean County, the specialty courts that exist are Veterans Court, Recovery Court, and Drug Court. We're in the process of trying to form a family treatment court, but that is off in the distance. Essentially will be put together next year. And so this contract employee would just cover the 3 that currently exist. The idea is to be able to take my existing staff out of the rotation for covering those. Currently, Veterans Court takes up a couple hours in the afternoon. Recovery and Drug Court take up from noon to approximately 5 o'clock on Thursdays. And so it's it's labor intensive, but it's not a litigation heavy position. I have a possible candidate picked out, but that's not set in stone at this point. So I want permission in order to seek a candidate for that. It would be anticipated that it would be just a contract employee, so it would be cheaper than hiring a full-on ASA for purposes of the county taxpayer, but then also providing coverage. It would be anticipated that person would essentially overlook those courts remotely by whenever a candidate's referred to on one of those courts, that they would track that person and then they would show up for the staffings in the actual court hearings, so that I could pull the 3 that are currently assigned to those 3 different courtrooms out and utilize them elsewhere.
Okay, are there any questions?
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay,
I move we approve the contract for a special assistant state's attorney for veterans recovery and drug court. Is that what?
Yep.
yes.
There it
Okay.
is.
Second by Abraham. Okay, and we go for a vote, is that correct? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, item to be presented for information, caseload and fund bill.
Essentially, we're on the same
Forfeiture, excuse me.
pace that we have been before. I don't have anything to add. Does anybody have any questions about that?
No?
I don't have a question about this, it's just a report, but I do have a question about the reclass request.
Okay.
How do these compare to other counties? In the little intro to it, it talked about being competitive. Are we now competitive? What does that look like?
So essentially what I did was obtain the budgets for all the counties that are equivalent in size around us, and then some of those that we just compete with because of the geographical location of those, and tried to compare. The problem that I anticipate is that I have heard from various state's attorneys in other counties that they are going to be making similar requests, and I don't know what those are until they are provided to the public and approved ultimately. This, we anticipate, puts us in a good spot based on what we have seen in the other budget requests. I mean, we pulled, like, for instance, Sangamon County's most recent, they do quarterly updates, and so we have their most recent budget. The problem is I just can't say for certain what 2024 would look like. But this request is for essentially the 2024 budget request to go into effect. So I'm hoping that it looks that way, but the problem is all the state's attorney's offices across the state are in very similar situations, and so they're all kind of playing this game of cat and mouse, where with each other essentially.
So this is an emerging market that we're trying to get in on top of, but as we've seen from the reports that we've received from the state's attorney, it's hard to keep up with because it just keeps developing. That compounded with the lack of new attorneys coming out of law school from the COVID years and beyond. I think we're going to continue to see some difficulties, but I feel like the efforts that we've put in, the efforts of the state's attorney and her team to look at comparables have put us in a good place for now. That's not to say we won't be coming back to you in 6 months and having another discussion.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it looks like it's changing every 3 to 6 months, where everybody's trying to essentially poach from other offices, and so they are trying to make their salaries more competitive. So I can't really give you a yes or no answer.
No worries.
To be determined.
Thank you. Is there any other questions at this time? Thank you. I was informed that Kathy Yoder will not be here today, so.
That is correct, but
Excuse me.
Mr.
Everhart, okay. I'm sorry, Everhart. Don Everhart from McLean County, Circuit Clerk's Office, please.
Yes.
Hello,
Hello.
I don't have any actual items, but I do have 2 items for information. Be glad to answer any questions.
Same question. Is this gonna make us a little bit more competitive? What do the other rates look like in the other counties around us?
It will make us more competitive because I am struggling to fill those. I have 10 AS1s, and I'm struggling to fill those positions as well. It's been very difficult because of the wages. I cannot answer that question. But the other issue with this request is they're dealing with an increased workload. Over 20 years ago, before my time, and most of my staff, the criminal and traffic divisions were divided into 2 teams each, customer support and data management. And there was a line of demarcation between those teams. Customer support handled all interactions with the public, and that would be the counters and the phones. Data management had nothing to do with the public. Since I've been in the office, I've been restructuring. And data now, or earlier, has been assisting the public earlier on with the phones as overflow, taking the call, saying, will you hold for a customer support rep, or take your name and number and we'll get back with you. They'll get back to you. But now I'm having them answer the phones and assisting the customers. So their workload is increasing. So now they're engaging with the public. And we'll be doing so more frequently when customer support team members start going into the courtroom, doing data entry and so forth.
I have a question here. Please explain to me what AS1 is. What is that salary and is that a living wage?
I don't think it's a living wage. It's Administrative Specialist 1.
Okay,
It's the lowest entry level into my office. The next level up is Administrative Specialist 3, so in this study, there was a gap between the 1 and the 3. And since this study, there's been an increased workload as well.
so we're looking at between $57,000 to $70,000 a year salary.
If this is granted, I'm giving up an AS1 that would make this budget neutral.
But see, that says the pay grade.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
So
not,
that's Erica's.
oh, that's Erica. That is totally different. I apologize.
No problem.
But it is not a living wage, right?
I personally don't think it's good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I have no other questions at this time. Does anyone have any other questions at this time?
Yes, Mr. Chairman? Can we, hear the number? What is the non-livable wage we just discussed? How much is that an hour?
Well, that's a fair question. I'm not authority on that, but I just can't imagine.
No, I mean, what are we offering?
Right now, to start out in that position, it was upgraded to $17. Before that, it was $14 and something.
Thank you.
This is upgraded to 17, now we're talking to go up to $18.
I think you have a good point there. I was making that 15 years ago, so. Okay, okay. If there's no other questions, thank you for coming, okay?
Thank you.
Like I said before, Kathy Yoder, McLean County Recorder will not be here. And now we're down to the last on our list is Cassie Taylor, County Administrator. Items presented for action.
I have nothing to present for action or for information at this committee, but I welcome any questions you might have for administration related to justice.
Yes, related to justice. If there's none, do we have any other business or any communications at this time? And if not, next meeting will be Tuesday, October 3rd at 4:30. Then I believe we're adjourned.